In the beginning of the movie, Renai wakes up and looks at photos in an album, and Dalton, her son, joins her, as they both look at photos together. Dalton comes across a childhood photo of his mother, and inquires about his father Josh's childhood photos, so Renai tells Dalton that there are no childhood photos of his father, because he was careless with them. Later, Renai places her books on a book rack, but someone throws them, and Renai thinks these books have perhaps been thrown by the kids, so she scolds them, but the kids had not actually thrown those books, as it was some evil power. As Josh leaves for his job, Renai tackles the whole house, and then starts her singing practice. Then she hears the crying sound of her young baby girl, so she goes to silence the baby, and she keeps her baby girl quiet, but in spite of this, the baby girl is weeping continuously. The attic door is opened automatically when Dalton is playing at night, so Dalton moves to the attic, and slips from the ladder while switching on the light, and seeing a figure there, he begins to scream, and his screaming is heard by Renai and Josh, who come running to Dalton. Dalton does not tell them what thing made him fearful, as he only tells them that he fell from the ladder, and he received a little bit of injury on his head and feet from falling down, so Josh takes him into his room. Renai has been searching for her music sheet box since morning, and she finds that the box is in the attic, and that music box was on that side where Dalton was frightened after seeing a thing. The next morning, Dalton does not awaken when Josh tries to wake him up, so Renai and Josh take him to the hospital, where they get the news that Dalton has lapsed into a coma, and the strange thing was that the doctors were unable to tell the reason for Dalton's coma, and with all his medical tests clear, they were not understanding anything. Their house is shown 3 months later, as they have taken Dalton back to the house, but Dalton is still not recovered, and remains in a coma. While practicing singing, Renai hears different voices from the baby room through the baby monitor, and the volume of those sounds is gradually increased, and then that baby girl begins to cry, so Renai moves there running, but finds no one. Renai's second son, Foster, says to her at night that he wants to change his room, and when the reason is asked, he tells her that Dalton sleepwalks at night, and as a result, he is frightened, even though Foster's room is in front of Dalton's, but Renai ignores his words, because Dalton was in a coma. Foster wakes up at midnight, and he notices the front room where Dalton is sleeping, so, feeling fear, he shuts his room door, then he feels as if someone is walking out of his room, so Foster hurriedly moves to his bed in fear. When Josh and Renai are in their room, their main door is knocked, so Josh goes to check, but there is no one, and as Josh is returning back to his room, shutting the door and setting the security alarm triggers loudly, so Josh quickly goes there and checks, and he finds the door opened, so he shuts the door and also snoozes the alarm. Then Renai hears the weeping sounds of her baby girl, and going into her baby girl's room, she notices a man, so, seeing him, she screams, calling for Josh, and as Josh comes there hurriedly, she tells him that there was a man in their baby girl's room, so Josh looks around the room. When Josh arrives at the main door, he discovers the doors open that he had previously closed, so Josh also does the same at this time, closing the door and snoozing the alarm, and he also checks the whole house, wondering what is the matter, and if there is anyone in the house. Then we also see that Dalton was not recovering even after a long time, and the doctors were unable to diagnose the reason, and Renai finds a blood-stained handprint on Dalton's bed, so, noticing it, she becomes badly afraid, and she calls for Josh, but he arrives after a little time, which consequently leads to a little quarrel between them. Renai tells Josh that this house is possessed, and that mysterious occurrences have been occurring from the day they came here, as she thought there is something in this house, and things are also being moved from one place to another. Renai dreams at night, and she dreamt of Dalton with a demon, and wakes up, then Renai notices a walking dark figure outside, and then a man enters her room, so Renai starts screaming fearfully, because that man frightens her, and Josh immediately comes there. Renai says to him that she does not want to live in this house anymore, because this house is cursed, so they shift to another house, leaving it, and Josh's mother, Lorraine, also accompanies them to help with the shifting. Lorraine is left astonished after seeing a photo that Josh has taken with his family, and Renai is also feeling something strange in this new house, as she encounters a child ghost there, and all the doors of the house are opened and closed by themselves. Renai observes that the child ghost has hidden in Dalton's room after moving there, so Renai is again afraid, and she calls a father, then tells Josh that the demon from the previous house has also come here with them, and she also informs him about the child ghost, and Lorraine agrees with Renai on it. Josh's mother tells her that she has dreamt of the demon, and when she asked it why it is here, and what it wants, it replied that it needs Dalton, and while conversing, Lorraine notices the same demon at the backside of Josh, so she is frightened seeing it. Meanwhile, sounds are heard from Dalton's room, so they run to his room, and they find the things of that room scattered, as if someone has thrown things here and there, and even Dalton has also fallen down from his bed. So, observing all this, Renai becomes more terrified. Then Lorraine calls the paranormal investigator, Elise, who arrives at the home, and after visiting Dalton's room, she feels the presence of the demon there, as Elise encounters the demon and its intention, which has come here for Dalton. So she informs Renai and Josh that Dalton is not in a coma, but is in this state because of his matchless tray, and due to this tray, Dalton's spirit can move to another place, leaving this world, as Dalton's spirit has become entrapped in a world where dead people reside, meaning that Dalton's spirit has moved to a purgatory state, so leaving the house did not make any difference, because their house was not haunted, but Dalton was being targeted. The demon is proceeding towards Dalton because of his presence there, so that it may bewitch him, and because it is not easy to bewitch human beings, all demons have been trying it for a long time. Then Josh goes to Dalton, and says to him to give him a clue if he can hear him, and a sketch page is dropped down among Dalton's made sketches. So, lifting that pencil sketch, Josh also notices the other drawn sketches of Dalton, and there is also a demon sketch among them, so Josh realizes Elise was correct. Elise and her partner try to contact Dalton, and are successful to an extent, as Dalton could hear their voice and also responds, and Dalton tells them that he is afraid of a man whose face is full of fire, and Dalton fears to talk with them because he is horrified that the demon may hear their conversation. So a frightened Dalton says fearfully that the demon has heard them. At the same time, some paranormal activities begin to happen with them, and Dalton comes to them, rising from his bed, and he hurls everyone in his surroundings using his newly possessed power, and he also throws the table and other things here and there, and other demons also arrive there, while one demon scares Renai by catching her, and Josh also notices it. While rescuing Renai, Josh is thrown far by the demon, and during this time, Elise tries to take the demon out of Dalton. Then everything comes to its normal routine, and Dalton falls down, but actually, Dalton is still in a coma. In the recorded content of the incident that happened a time ago, we are shown the demon standing behind Dalton, who wanted to possess him and was regulating him. Lorraine tells Josh that he used to fear at bedtime when he was 8 years old, and he used to tell his mother about seeing an old lady, as Josh was terrified of that old lady, but Lorraine never paid attention to it, and when she took the photo of Josh, that old lady was also with him in the photos, and the purpose of that lady was to possess Josh by taking him to the purgatory state. She says that she had saved Josh by taking help from Elise, as Elise had rooted out all the horrible thoughts in his mind, but Josh is afraid of photography, and this is the reason that no photo of his childhood was in the photo album. Elise tells him that only Josh can protect Dalton now, as he can bring Dalton back by going into the purgatory state, and she warns him that it should be kept secret from the spirits that he belongs to this world, and that he should be careful, otherwise, they can come here to possess his body. Then Josh moves to another world, searching for Dalton, and at the same time, he encounters many demons, and going ahead, he also finds Dalton, whose feet were chained, so they both meet with each other, and Dalton tells Josh that there is a demon who has imprisoned him here, so Josh frees Dalton from those chains, and that demon notices him. That demon attacks Josh, but Josh somehow escapes from there, taking Dalton, though Josh is surrounded by many demons, so he is not coming back easily. Then Renai is shouting in order to help Josh, and he immediately enters the house, dropping Dalton there. In an effort to return to his own body, Dalton begins to explore and search for his body in various places, and the demon appears before Dalton in a moment, trying to stop him, so Dalton runs, but the demon also runs after him, but Dalton reaches his body by running. Then we see that Josh encounters the same old lady who was seen in his childhood, so Josh screams at it, asking it to leave, and says to it to go away, and to leave him alone, as he is not afraid of it. Then we come to know that Josh is actually outside the house, while that old spirit is inside. Josh and Dalton come to their senses, and everyone is pleased seeing them, as Dalton is now conscious and alright, and everyone is safe. Then Elise and her partners are returning with their luggage. Josh and Elise converse with each other, and Josh returns his old photos to Elise, and while taking photos, Elise is surprised seeing his hands, so she takes a photo of him, which makes Josh furious, and here we know that the old lady spirit has possessed Josh's body, and Josh's spirit has become entangled in another world. He attacks Elise, and kills her by choking her, and during this time, Renai hears the voice of Elise, and goes to check on her, so, reaching there, she becomes horrified seeing the dead body of Elise, and she sees the photo of Josh, which is actually the photo of the old lady spirit in that camera, so she is astonished and also frightened. Meanwhile, Josh appears at her backside. Consequently, Renai is terrified, and the movie also ends with it.